Beat them senseless.
You and me and you, we gonna throw down. That's right, we gonna get serious.
You can run, but you can't hide.
It's time for the Fuller Broadcast with your host, Jeff Fuller.
Welcome to the Fuller Broadcast Mania. I'm here live with my co-host, Zachary. We interview fighters from around the world like Street Beef, BKFC, UFC, like you guys saw the other day, any combat sports fighter in the world. We talk about their careers, what they got coming up next, their training, and we go from there. So right now we're gonna introduce our sponsors, then we're gonna bring our special guest on here in a second. Woo! Just Get Blaze, as you see what I'm wearing right now. Just Get Blaze Clothing Store, 773, which is Arnold Adams t-shirt. So if you guys want to get your t-shirts today with different, logos or anything on there, contact Wallace today at Just Blaze Clothing Store. We also have D&D Custom Baits. So let Zach talk about them real quick.
Custom color combinations, custom lure presentations, different amounts of profiles, creatures, soft plastics, colors, scents, you name it. Landon can do it. Hit up D&D Baits for your custom lures. Catch more fish.
And also our other sponsor, Twisted Witches Stitches, which is made by his wife.
Custom tapestry and designs, pretty much anything that you could imagine. She could come up with a pattern for. Gifts, toys, pillows, blankets, pretty much anything. Hit up the Twisted Witches Stitches.
Trulicious Arizona, local truck company out here in Arizona. It's locally here in Castle Grand Eagle. It go to any events out here. If you guys have a sweet tooth, go check out their page. Give them a like and share. Stop by their food truck and get some sweets. And also we have Cafetito Bakeway, which makes usually I don't have my cups in here. They make products. They can make any designs on the cups with your family pictures, your name, any cartoon characters, anything that you guys want on those cups, they will make for you. Go check out all of our sponsors and give them a like, share, and follow them. And now it's time to bring on our special guest, which is from Oklahoma, Carney. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here.
That's good to hear. That's good. So how's your day been so far?
It's been well. I just got done teaching classes here at Forza Combat Sports, and excited for the weekend.
Definitely. Are you going to be watching any of the fights this weekend?
For sure. I know Venado Lopez is fighting on the top ranked card, and then I think there's UFC event as well. So I'll be tuning in for sure.
UFC,
so
and I believe there's BKFC tomorrow as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we should go live for that. So before we talk about anything about your gym, so what interested you when you were a little kid to start combat sports, or did you start it a little later? And what gym you train at, and who's your coaches?
All right, so I was a senior in high school. I just got done with football. It ended in the fall, in the winter. So I wanted to kind of do something, get active, and lose some weight. I was 275 pounds as a lineman. And my time in football was done. So I wanted to do something that I found interesting, learn a new skill. And, I found Forza Combat Sports and in 2020. And from there, a lot of things happened where, COVID happened. School was kind of up in the air with college, and I ended up staying with Forza Combat Sports for the long term. It was supposed to be just be a temporary thing, and here I am now, getting to do what I love.
That's good. So that's good. So the gyms that you're training around, I believe you're an Emmy fighter, correct?
Yes, I'm an amateur fighter.
Do you plan on going professional soon?
Yes. We got to see how, the next, this half of the year plays out. And then, but we're trending in the right direction. So, hope to turn pro, sometime maybe in the fall or winter.
Do you plan on doing, K1, or do you plan on doing MMA, or
I certainly would love to, if K1 would have me, I'd love to be out there and to do it in Japan. But I'd love to fight professionally, kickboxing, Muay Thai. Glory would be really cool. I get to, hopefully they come out to North America a little bit more. I know that they've been kind of in a box out in Europe, doing their own thing. But if they come out, if they're willing to sign some more North American fighters, I'm happy to be out there and do it as well.
Definitely. Dustin Jacoby, I know you're probably watching this. Get this man a spot.
We have a bunch of kickboxing and Muay Thai events out here in Arizona also. I will see if I could get you hooked up with the promoter I know out here. They got some big events out here in Arizona, out in Phoenix. So I will talk to him if you're interested in flying out here sometime to fight some events. I'm sure he wouldn't mind having a 6-7-time Muay Thai kickboxing champion, right?
Oh, certainly not. I know the WBC has been going through Samurai Soul out there in Arizona. I know they just had an event with I think the Tierra Brandt, I think, just fought for the WBC title out there in Arizona. And I think they had a couple months ago, I think they had Nick Chastain and Peter Staninik fight for the WBC belt out there. So if the WBC wants to put a strap on the line, I'm more than happy to come out there and throw down.
Would you be interested in like a hybrid style fight like the Game Bred FC where it's bare knuckle MMA? Since you do have that Muay Thai background, I mean, you get in there and you start stinging somebody,
I like a big boxing glove. I don't even like an MMA glove, let alone bare knuckle. I like a nice boxing glove. But the money's right, I'll do an MMA glove.
Oh yeah.
If the money's right,
you'd fight Francis Ngannou, wouldn't you?
So
go ahead.
So what about the experience you have? The whole many years you have, the Muay Thai and kickboxing. How does that experience feel for you right now?
It's been really nice. I had a decent record going into 2023, but I was really able to rattle off some wins in 2023, and that was the year I secured my national title under Freedom Fighter Promotions. That's when I secured my continental title under the TBA, and actually my world title under Freedom Fighter Promotions as well. As well as I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sparta Combat League. They host shows out in Denver, and really just they're looking to expand out in the Southwest. I hold their Muay Thai titles as well. And so,
Waco? You do any Waco?
I haven't got to do Waco yet. We've been mostly Muay Thai. I only have a couple kickboxing fights and a couple boxing fights, but it's been mostly Muay Thai. I have, let's see, I'm 18-5 in total, but I believe I'm 15-5. No, I'm sorry, 14-5 in Muay Thai. So the bulk of it's been Muay Thai.
That's good. That sounds good. So what we're talking about, Wacko, I know the promoter out here and the representative for them. So if you're interested in getting in there, I have no problem to share you in a message with them to get you out here. I would love to see you fight in person.
As I said, I'd love to have him talk to my coach, Giovanni Leonardo Perucci. He just goes by Leo Perucci though. He's my manager. He's my coach. He handles everything. I don't even accept fights. He just tells me when and where and what we're doing, and I just kind of show up and throw down.
Right. Go ahead, Zach. You got a question for him?
So when is your next fight? Do you have anything scheduled on the table right now or in the near future?
So right now, we're looking to go out in April to Hawkinson, Delaware. I believe that's the city. That's going to be where the World Game Qualifier is for Muay Thai.
Yep.
Under USA Muay Thai. So I'm going to go out there. I believe I have 2 people in my bracket at the moment. So I'll either fight and I'll go right to the semifinals, or if I get the bye, I'll go right to the finals. After that, I'll have earned my spot on Team USA. So I'll go out to Greece for the World Games, the IFMA World Games in the first week of June.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Definitely. It'd be great for you to go out there and get some wins.
Certainly. I can't wait, man. Obviously you can't put the cart before the horse. I have to win the qualifier, but I'm very confident, and my team and I are very, very confident that I'm going to have a good showing.
I've come to figure out, being a fight, I've been fighting since 2009. So with the experience that I have, I've noticed that whenever people come in confident, super confident, not cocky, confident, they generally perform a lot better than someone who's out there like, man, I don't want this guy to kick me in the damn head. I don't want this guy to kick me in the head. I've seen what he's done to the last 4 people when he kicked them in the head and they dropped like, a bag of potatoes. I don't want kicked in the head, or I don't want kicked in the ribs. You see those people, and then that's all they worry about, and that's all that they protect. And then they go out and they're in there with a high level individual, not necessarily a Bukau or a Rodtang level individual, but like, a nice, 8-1 guy, 8-2 guy, and then they just get their head taken off because they're worried about some left field. You know what I mean? They're worried about left field. They're not worried about the task in front of them. And I like the confidence that I see from you right there. I mean, that just shows that, really about that life, as they would say.
So of course, I show a lot of respect to everyone that gets in there, because they're still dangerous and they know what they're signing up for, Yeah. So you have to be cautious, but you can't over-respect them too much. At the end of the day, you're there to win too.
That's right. A squirrel can kill a wolf if he does it the right way.
Yeah.
And how did your last fight go?
Oh,
that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, I forgot. The next one would be, how did your last fight go? What was that like for you? And was that MMA or kickboxing or Muay Thai?
So that was at Extreme Fight Night 392. Out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was my first fight in Tulsa. It's my 23rd fight, but I never got to fight in my hometown. So I got to go out at the River Spirit and fight Terrell Jones, who's the #1 amateur MMA fighter at 145 in the United States. And it was a kickboxing fight because Muay Thai isn't sanctioned yet in Oklahoma. And I got him out of there round 1. It was an awesome experience getting able to do that in front of my own people. Again, everywhere I'm always the away team. So getting to come out in front of my own crowd and hear them, cheer was awesome. And it was just a really cool fight because again, I don't have that much kickboxing experience, so I kind of got to work my hands more. I box quite a bit, even in my Muay Thai fights. But getting to kind of work with the exchange is a little bit different than in Muay Thai and kickboxing. So I got to kind of play with that and not have to worry about necessarily like stuff like the clinch, elbows coming back at me and things like that. And yeah, it was just a great time.
Now,
That's good.
with that being said, do you prefer to be able to throw the full-on knees, elbows, back elbows, or do you prefer to be in that safety mode where there's none of this, because some people love it and some people hate it. I mean, it's a coin flip. I mean, but if you're into that, you're really into that, for the most part. I mean, like you get guys like Vanderlei Silva, for instance, that was a knee elbow machine. That is what he did, I mean, and he was a Muay Thai style kickboxer. So, I mean, which do you prefer? Is that?
So I would say it's definitely changed. I used to really prefer the really just the scoring criteria of kickboxing more than anything. I'm not that big of a kicker. If I don't know how many of my fights you've seen, I don't throw that many kicks. I mix it in there, but I mostly throw hands. But in this past 3 to 4 Muay Thai fights, I really started to incorporate the elbow game a little bit more. And that's really helped with the scoring criteria in the event that it goes to the decision. And so I would say I used to prefer the kickboxing style, but I've really fallen in love with the Muay Thai, and that's been my calling as of recently, certainly.
So it sounds to me like you prefer the more traditional style with the knees and the elbows allotted in there, so you can, get a little bit of extra cushion room, as they would say. I mean, when you've got that one active, you've got that active clinch, and you can bring that elbow up through the middle. I mean, that does a lot of damage, and that really will help your game. If you're in there.
Certainly.
Yeah.
That's
so. So let me bring this question up. I wanted to ask you. So, being good at Muay Thai and kickboxing, your ground game when it comes to wrestling, do you think you need more experience with wrestling if you ever decided to go to the MMA matchup? Do you think you need more improvement? And do you have that coach to help you out?
I mean, I live in Oklahoma. If I ever wanted to go and learn wrestling, I certainly have the ability to go and learn wrestling. My brother, he actually just he's a freshman in high school. He actually just made the podium actually for 5A state.
Congratulations.
Which that's not the finish he wanted. But it was one of those things where he's a freshman. Everyone else was a sophomore and up. The winner was a senior, going to OU next year. So shout out Tommy Carney. But all that to say, I have the ties to be able to go and learn wrestling should I ever want to. But I really would prefer not to. I don't like wrestling. I don't like MMA. I like watching MMA fine, but I don't like grappling at all.
I feel like combat sambo is much more, used and a much more detrimental style when it comes to mixed martial arts, because that has a little bit of it all in there with the combat sambo versus, someone who does just straight jiu-jitsu or wrestling or Muay Thai, for instance. Or, it's got a little bit of a mixed base to it with the combat sambo, with the slaps and the takedowns and the submissions and all that. Because I mean, you see guys like Fedor, and back in the day, Fedor danced around like a 185-pound guy at 235 pounds. I mean, and was starching 300+ pounders just because of the movement, And I feel like the combat sambo, which is just a little bit different than Muay Thai, because you add in the takedowns and such and the submissions, but I feel like it's basically the same standard stand-up game as kickboxing and MMA and all that. They're all basically the same in the stand-up game, where you've got free reign to kick, other than like Taekwondo, where you can only point score, where you get disqualified for knocking the individual out. Aside from that, I feel like all of the rest of those kind of they kind of go together a little bit of sense, but at the same time there are major differentials in the scoring criteria. So I feel like combat sambo, if you yourself personally were to go and say for instance you got offered that fight for PFL or whatever, and you were like, well, I'm going to take this shit seriously. So I feel like you would do better off with your combat sambo, because that would play into your Muay Thai, because you'd be able to use your kicks and your elbows and your punches and your space creations to set up the takedowns to get that.
Maybe. I would say though, look at a guy like Leon Edwards, if you're going to bring up like a Muay Thai style in MMA, right at the highest level too. He was able to secure the takedown against Usman, who's
several times.
Right, and his whole game is clinch entries, elbowing off the break, knees to the body. And so it's really just what people gravitate towards. I don't gravitate towards grappling in any capacity, sambo included. So it's just one of those things. Also, there's no sambo gym in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
There's
real one.
There's not real sambo gyms, but that's like you see all these other gyms where they're like, oh well, we teach Hapkido or we teach this or that, and you're like, no, you don't, because you see these guys that you question the validity of where they got their interpretation of that work from, because I've seen a lot of schools in random towns that like, you kind of think like, where did this guy get his belt at, and how much did he pay for it? I know with working around with a lot of individuals, if you go from gym to gym to gym to gym, you'll be able to tell a real good room when you get into it.
Certainly. And I would say too, just kind of piggybacking off what you were saying, and also, but to my point, Jimmy Flick, he's the only male UFC fighter in Oklahoma. I think he might even still be the only UFC fighter in Oklahoma now.
I think so.
He, for example, he goes out to the Sand Springs wrestling room. Right, it's a high school, but it's Oklahoma, so you're going to get
that I could think of would have been Ultimate Fighter contestant Abe Wagner. But I think he's like 44. I don't think he competes anymore.
Yeah, as I say, I don't think he won either.
He did not win, but he was a high level.
No, what I'm saying though is that like in the UFC.
Actually
in the UFC.
Yeah.
There were some women at OKC for a little bit. But back to Jimmy though, he wrestles with the high school wrestling team during his camps. It's a high school, but it's Oklahoma wrestling is such a high caliber that you can still get tremendous world-class work, and so it's just one of those things where with the resources available, strikers, even the people at our gym that do MMA, they can get good work just with the local talent.
Right.
And I forgot about one fighter from Oklahoma, and I apologize for interrupting, but that would have been Big Rig Johnny Hendricks. That was another Oklahoma State fan.
Yeah,
he retired.
Well, he didn't train at Oklahoma either. I guess that's
he did not. He did not. You're correct there. But I believe he still resides in Oklahoma.
I think so. I don't know.
So
I don't follow as much MMA anymore. I don't know.
Better watch out for these Oklahoma boys.
Actually, I lied, because now that I think about that, Rafael Lovato Jr. trains out of Oklahoma City, I believe.
Shame he never made it, unfortunately. But he was a great fighter. Shame what happened with his health. He's a great fighter, and his team still produces guys.
Definitely.
So let's talk a little bit about your training. I know as you're getting ready to go to the World Games and stuff. So is your training going to change differently now that you're being prepared to go to the World Games and stuff? How's that working out for you from Oklahoma to going to, I believe you said Delaware?
Yeah. So, I'll be fighting domestic talent in Delaware. I'll be fighting a guy from Maryland and a guy from Virginia. Right, or at least that's who's in the bracket right now. And that's the training. The mindset, I guess, changes, but the training doesn't necessarily. I have great training partners out here that prepare me for any fight. I fought Russian Master of Sport Gregory Zaklushayev in September, and my main training partner was my coach. So it's just one of those things where my people get me ready for any obstacle that's in the way, and the mindset changes, of course. I'm not a fool. I understand that the scope and the magnitude of the opportunities that I'm getting. So the mindset has to change, but the training stays the same. We prepare for everything that is going to be ahead of me.
That sounds good, man. That sounds good. So my co-host over here likes to ask these two questions about your favorite fighter stuff. So I'll let him go there and ask you.
Who is your favorite current, past, or present fighter?
Man, so I watch a lot of boxing. My big, I guess Mount Rushmore. For personally, not to say that they're the greatest of all time, but they're certainly up there. Eric Morales, Gennady Golovkin, Lomachenko, Vasily, and who's the last one? Oh, Juan Manuel Marquez.
We had Lomachenko as an answer before.
Yeah, they're just they're all very different, but they're such a joy to watch, and I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of what they do, both mentality-wise as well as from the technical side of things as well. Again, they're all very different. They're all different craft. Lomachenko's left-handed, so everything they do is different from each other. But I try to incorporate elements to that into my kickboxing, into my Muay Thai, into my boxing. And there are people that I rewatch their fights regularly, and I just enjoy them. Right now, too, in Muay Thai, I'm a big fan of Superlek currently. Superlek's a fun watch. In kickboxing, a huge fan of Ricardo Bravo. He's just got his contract with one, but he fought on a bunch of those Friday night series fights. Actually, he does Muay Thai too for one, and he's also a joy to watch. And yeah, those are the people that I really like watching. I'm a newer boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing fan in terms of watching live events. So on one end, I'm not the historian that some people are, but also there's a catalog of past fights that I get to kind of rewatch and watch for the first time.
Is that the fella that they signed that they're going to have fight Marlon Moraes on one?
Marlon Moraes isn't part of one.
It's not Marlon Moraes. Who is it? Shit.
And everyone I haven't mentioned, I don't know of any MMA fighters on one.
It's
not really.
That might not be his name. I might be wrong on the name off the top of my head. I know that they just signed somebody to fight one of their big fighters, and I don't know where I came up with Marlon Moraes from. I don't know.
Ricardo Bravo's Argentinian. And he's newer. He's been fighting on the those Friday morning cards. He's just a blast to watch.
I am baffled at who I was trying to think about now. I cannot remember his name, and it is going to bother me for several days until it just pops. And then I'm going to be like, man, I have to tell Jeff because I have to tell, because I got to ask you, because it's one of those things.
I understand where you're coming from with that. Unfortunately, I can't help you. I don't know. I don't know almost anything about One's MMA. One's MMA is not exactly a joy to watch.
It's a little different.
You know what I'm going to tell you. I don't care what you're going to say, but I think your coach and your fans are going to twist you, get you to fight in MMA. I have a feeling.
Man.
Not now, not 5 years, but you're going to get there.
My coach knows better, man.
So,
he knows better.
The next question we have for you. Now, this is my favorite one right here. Who are you calling out and why? It can be anybody in any division, anything. They could be kickboxing, MMA, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, whatever you want to call it. If you've got a couple of them, we'd love to hear it.
I think I'm hearing a lot of conflicting reports right now, so this might even just be an outdated call out at this point. But to my knowledge, currently Johnny O'Neill is the current WBC champ at 147, and I'd love to get that belt, the amateur 147 champion. I'd love to get that belt before I turn pro. So if I could get that done in July or August, that'd be pretty cool. But also, I don't even know if he's still the champion. So, but that's my call out of sorts, I guess. I don't really, I don't know.
Whatever your coach,
I'm sorry if that's a lame
answer says.
It makes sense, brother. It makes sense. If that's what you want is to take that belt, then,
it doesn't matter.
You just want
matter
that
who
belt.
holds it.
That's what you're saying is you're calling out that belt. You
Absolutely.
don't care who has that name on it. It could be Pickles from down the street. It could be Jeff from down the street. It could be Bob from down the street. You're calling out that belt. That belt.
Absolutely. That green belt's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. So with your fights you're going through, with kickboxing, Muay Thai, and all that, being a champion, 6-7-time champion, who are your sponsors, if you have any, and the coaches that help you?
So I'll start with my coaches. Again, Coach Leo Perucci is the guy. He's an absolute wizard, man. He's really helped. He's helped me in more ways than I could ever use words to describe it. He's the mastermind behind all of this. He's the mastermind behind everyone at Forza, whether it's Jimmy Flick, whether it's myself, whether it's Samson Tabatite, Joseph Hobbs, Christian Hightower, Jeff Wilton, whoever. He's the mastermind behind all of them and their success. And then, those names too are the guys that help me out with my camps. LT Nelson as well. I'm sure you guys are familiar with LT. LT Nelson, he's getting prepared for his bare knuckle fight, his world title fight. Yes, sir. And he's always a great round to go with in sparring, and he's just been a great teammate to have on board with Team Forza. As for my sponsors, I go fight by fight, but my last fight was sponsored by Integrity Biomedical Services, Conrad's Roofing, Special Event Services, and Platinum Protection Incorporated. They help me support me rather, and be able to put on a really, really fun performance that I think a lot of people really enjoyed.
That's good. That's good. So that you mentioned Jimmy Flick. I had him on my show a few years ago, like 2 years to be exact. He proved everybody. He went from, I interviewed him when he was at Ammy getting ready to go to the UFC contest or something to sign a contract with UFC, and he proved to everybody that he belonged in the UFC, man. And it's awesome to interview guys from Oklahoma.
Well, I can tell you right now that the UFC likes Jimmy Flick, because how many people do you know that they're like, I'm done, bro. And they're like, bro, come on, bro. The UFC likes Jimmy Flick.
Hey, listen, I love Jimmy Flick, man. He's coming up with something. He's gonna hopefully get a fight soon, and man, I can't wait. I love the Jimmy Brick show.
Definitely. I've got a personal friend who knows Jimmy pretty well. He talks to him all the time, and Jimmy's a real good stand-up guy.
Certainly.
Yeah. So it's the end of the show, and we'd like to appreciate you coming on and taking the time. I know you were busy last week, and good job on that win.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll have you on back soon.
All righty, just let me know.
Definitely. We would love to have you back soon. Just remember, touch and go. No elbows. Touch and go.
No, I get elbows my next fight.
You forgot about the kick.
Oh, yeah.
I always forget about the kick.
You know what I see a lot in kickboxing and in MMA that a lot of people do not implicate is the front kick. If they use the front kick, a lot of these people, they got their down here and their chin up here, and I just want to kick you right in the nose. I know you understand exactly what I'm talking about, because you
listen, I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Like these people, like I don't get it. It's like I tell the same thing to the bare knuckle guys. I'm like, why you want to throw like you're a tornado out here? Because calculation gets results. And I don't understand that. If you see a bare knuckle fight, a guy who is a fencing style boxer who's in and out, up and down, in and out, changing levels, that guy beats the hell out of a normal boxer most of the time, because that normal boxer is not used to that differential in the movement. If he's not used to somebody that runs, and I see it a lot in the bare knuckle boxing. These guys back up, literally back up. You cannot walk backwards with both feet, insinuating like you're just walking backwards. And I see it so much, that and the big whooping hooks, and it looks good, looks real good. That punch looks hard as hell, but guys like us that really know how to throw a punch, we know that's not a hard punch. That's gonna get you knocked out by somebody who's calculated, and they just jab you, because every time you're rearing back here, you ain't got nothing in front of your face. And I noticed that a lot. But I would definitely love to see people implicate the front kick more in fights, because
it's gonna be kind of hard to do that in bare knuckle boxing.
Even if you don't hit them in the face with a front kick, in your MMA, even if you don't hit them in the face, you're hitting them in the arms, you're hitting them in the chest, hit them in the neck sometimes. I mean, that's if it's doing nothing else, it's at least creating a separation of space for you to maybe catch that 1-2. Or for you to, maybe be able to calculate, well, he takes a half step whenever I do that instead of a full step. So you can figure out a plan to formulate behind that. It's like fighting behind an educated jab. A lot of guys are doing that nowadays in MMA, and they're having a lot more success. But imagine if you fought behind an educated front kick.
I mean, yeah, but also the argument to that, and I'm not to say that you're wrong, but the argument to that is you're on one leg. And you're giving up another leg.
That's true.
So the takedown is a frightening thought as well.
That is true, because most guys that are kickboxers and such do not want to get taken to their back. I mean, you end up with there's those special rarities, like a Brian Ortega or somebody like that. That's like, yes, I want you to catch my kick to take me down, please. You get those guys that are rarities like that they really can defend from their back and be offensive at the same time, but they're a kickboxer. Like a Rafael Fiziev, for instance. Somebody like that. That's they're really, really high level stand up, but they've also got, you know, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu too. So, you know, they got kind of the best of both worlds of sorts. And I just, you know, I noticed that.
All right, man. We'll get you back on.
Oh.
So when you come back on, I want to get you back. Maybe after your World Games, so you concentrate on those events and give us a little detail on your. You know, I'm gonna say now you got the victory, and we'll see that medals and stuff around your neck. You know.
Oh yeah.
We want to see those medals, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, just reach out and we'll get it done.
Definitely. It sounds good.
All right,
We
well,
appreciate you taking the time to come talk with us tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a good night.
We appreciate it.
Thank you for
Well, everybody,
thank you for being on the Fuller Broadcast.
Broadcast from me and Jeff. We'll be seeing you. Thanks for stopping by. Check our sponsors out. Peace.